He was such a poor student, you know, jumping around, not studying well. And then he told his uncle, all of you all are farmers and school teachers. I don't want to be a farmer. I don't want to be a school teacher because you will never be truly successful. I'm going to be a businessman and do really well. And his uncle apparently was totally unbelieving because this was this boy who couldn't even do well in his school, you know. And his uncle says to him, yeah, sure. And if you actually succeed, you come home, these two big lanterns in front of my front door, I'm going to hang them upside down. Which, of course, as you know, the Chinese, very pantang, we don't do that, right? He made his uncle hang the lanterns upside down. Cheong Fatt Tze was a man that saw opportunity where others didn't. This was a man who was willing to go against the norms and the cultural prejudices of the day. He traveled with his own doctor, a German doctor. He wanted to buy 2 first-class tickets on a luxury liner belonging to a German company. And they would only sell 1 ticket, which was for the German doctor. In those days, there were very clear racial boundaries. He was very upset. And he set about 2 things. 1, how am I going to upgrade my cargo ships to become luxury passenger liners? And 2, how much will it cost me to actually buy up this whole company? When the German company realized who he was, they offered him the first-class ticket. And he actually responded with a no. Not till all parts of the ship are open to men of all colour. For the Chinese government to issue first-day cover stamps as late as the 21st century, when he died 100 years ago, obviously there's tremendous appreciation of the man in China. He was really seen as one of the ones that, went out there and competed with the Europeans at the same level.
He's taken Western interior decoration at the time and made it work seamlessly in a Mandarin Chinese courtyard house. Stained glass windows are part of how he became more fascinated in the later years with Western influence. If you look closely, they're actually pineapples and very Chinese patterns. And then if you look around the house, you'll see, even though they're imported, they're still influenced by Chinese sort of patterns and things like that. So you'll find steelwork, ironworks with little coins in them, It's just one representation, I think, of that blend of East and West, which you find seamlessly throughout the house. And it's just because he could show his worldliness in what was his probably most ornate mansions.
The first time Lawrence I saw it was when it was on sale. The house was actually in danger of being purchased, demolished, another high-rise block put in its place. The people who were looking to buy the property were all developers. After we looked at the property, then we told the agent we were very interested. But we didn't give him any deposit. We didn't sign anything. And then can you believe on the following week, he took other people to see it. And other people offered him a higher price. He said to them, no, cannot, because I already promised. We hadn't signed. We hadn't given him any money. And yet he rejected the other offer because he had promised us. So that's why we firmly believe Cheong Fatt Tze must have decided after he saw us walking around the house that, okay lah, these are the people that I want to come and save my house. The house was in such a bad state. There must have been 30 cats. And the cats were catching the pigeons, and there were dead pigeons lying in corners. The ceiling space between the ceiling and the roof was filled with pigeon droppings. I mean, they literally shoveled pigeon droppings out. Things were very sad lah.
I remember the first time stepping into it, it was in a state of dilapidation, disrepair. The wood was falling apart, timber floors were falling. All this wasn't here, a lot of it had to be restored. So as a 14, 15-year-old, you kind of go, well, what crazy labor of love have my parents got themselves into,
We had joined groups of people talking about Georgetown and heritage and conservation for many years. As we say in English, it became time to put your money where your mouth was. So, this came along and don't know. And we were just fated, lucky, I don't know what it was. Everybody thinks, well, so clever. People now buy houses, with, I'm going to Airbnb, I want to turn it restaurant, I want to turn hotel, or whatever it is. We had no idea. We just wanted to save the house, restore the house, save a legacy that we thought was very, very important to Penang. This is the first high-profile Grade 1 restoration in this country. The wood artisans, the carpenters were the most important. They were elderly, they wore thick glasses, they restored everything by hand. They worked for more than 3 years doing timber restorations. The ironworks, the missing ones, the local foundries, after we gave them the pattern, they actually managed to make new ones. I took samples from the walls and sent it to USM to be analyzed, so that we could reproduce the exact amount of lime and sand. I think we set out very determined to try as far as we can to restore the house to perfection. The people who appreciated heritage and conservation, obviously very different from the business community who thought we were crazy. We had small other partners, small other investors who were not happy at all. It's not like they thought, wow, so nice or whatever. Yeah, so nice, but when are we ever going to get any money back? And then when this court case took place and this damage, that was a very tough time. Because where were you going to get the money to repair what you've just finished repairing? Nobody was going to put 1 cent in anymore. I think for at least 2 years or more, we could barely step into this house. Our hearts were broken. You put everything into the restoration and then you see being destroyed in front of your eyes. It's very, very hard. It's very hard. And to go and find that spirit to go and put it together again, that was really hard.
It was a long, tedious process, a lot of hours spent in court, and that we won it in the court case in the end. So I think, again, testament to the fact that speaking up and being vocal about these things and doing what's right helps, especially in the early days where people didn't really understand.
The citation by UNESCO actually writes it beautifully. They actually talk about how it started not just street neighborhood regeneration, but a whole town regeneration. It was the impetus that started. Everybody starts to restore around you. When you talk about heritage, it is the appreciation of what you are and where you have come from. It doesn't require money to, for example, keep the Hokkien language going. It doesn't require money to learn and keep on producing our traditional foods, our traditional clothes. And we try very hard with a younger generation because we've always said that we work so hard for what? If the younger generation do not appreciate what we're doing, when we're gone, they'll just knock it down, right? School holidays, the kids come up. They join little programs, Arts Ed, Penang Heritage Trust. They walk around town, they look. They are shown things that their parents have not shown them. Sounds of the inner city, smells of the inner city, not just the sights of the inner city. And they're suddenly realizing that the tak tak mi man sound has a particular sound, the frying char kway teow has a particular sound. They start to pick up on all these, and children are incredible because they pick up so fast. They can go home and tell their parents very quickly, aircon condenser cannot put in front there, no? You must hide it behind you, because it looks totally wrong. If you don't inculcate that appreciation, what is the point of the building? It's got nothing to do with money and the building. It's to do with that appreciation of, hey, there is value where I come from.